welcome. I'm Mishkin Berteig. At Berteig, we help you transform your business with real agility. So without further ado, the purpose of Scrum. And probably many of you know it, but just in case, we want to go through this in some detail because it's really important to understand as the foundation of all the other things that we look at. Scrum is referred to as a framework. It's not a method. It's not a process. We want to say that it is something to which you can build additional things. You can add on to it. It is not a complete solution in and of itself. The Scrum framework is for developing, delivering, and sustaining complex products. Now that's directly from the Scrum Guide, the official document describing Scrum. This is a phrase that actually requires a little bit of unpacking. First part, developing, delivering, and sustaining. So what we're talking about here in some ways is obvious. It's really about innovation, exploring the suspected or the unknown. It's about looking at the full life cycle for whatever you're working on, not just a construction phase that often occurs in, say, project management. And because it's a framework, it's really designed to overlay and encompass all other techniques. Developing and delivering and sustaining, one way you can think of this is in terms of R&D. So it's not meant to be software development alone. And that word developing sometimes catches people. Instead, think of it in terms of research and development. And that development then is a very generic term here. The word complex is also something that people sometimes get a little bit caught on. One model for understanding the word complex is referred to as the Kanban Model. It looks like it's pronounced Seinfin, but it's pronounced Kanban. It's a Welsh word. In the Kanban model, complex problems and work are contrasted with obvious, complicated, or chaotic work. Obvious are things that you can do with muscle memory, single step, you can guarantee a solution. Complicated are things that are built up from many obvious pieces and can be extremely large, even millions of obvious pieces. But the key thing is that a complicated problem or solution is something that you can define and determine in advance. On the left side of this diagram with complex and chaotic problems, you have unknown unknowns. You can't simply use analysis up front to figure out a solution. You actually need to do work. You need to actually try and deliver a solution in order to explore the problem space. In complex problems, there's problem solving, there's creativity needed, there's innovation. You explore and evolve solutions, and it's very organic. At best, in a complex environment, you can plan out your problems. You can see into the future what problems we're going to have to solve, but because of the complexity of the work, we can't actually analyze and solve things until we do the work. It is worth your time to look up the Kanban model and do some learning about that to really deepen your understanding of complex. Now, the last part of this phrase is products. So I want to contrast product versus project because the Scrum framework is very specific about this concept. The Scrum Guide does not use the phrase project or project management anywhere. It talks about product. Products and projects both have beginnings. You think about, hey, we're going to do something, we're going to try and work towards a goal, and you start working. Okay, no problem. But then the similarities end. Projects are defined, by definition, they have an end. Products, on the other hand, have no defined end. They're developed, they're worked on, they're delivered and sustained basically until the product is not valuable anymore. Projects have different funding models than products. Projects are often done with capital funding models or sometimes operational. On the other hand, products are based on investment funding. In other words, someone or some group says, we want to invest in the building of a product, and to do that, we are going to put some money in and hopefully get some return on that investment later on. Projects have stakeholders. That's a very generic term. Products, on the other hand, specifically have customers. These are people who will find your product in a marketplace, who will pay for the product itself, not the effort to build the product, and who often have choice and can look at possibly competing products. This is really where the crux of the difference between product and project lies. And so when we try to understand the Scrum framework, we need to understand that we're talking about customers in a marketplace, that we're talking about a product that we will sell as a product rather than work that we have to pay for. This is something that often catches a lot of people as a surprise. Again, the definition of Scrum is very specific on this point.